What's up, guys? My name is Splattercat, and welcome back to the next episode of our Let's Play of Expeditions Conquistador. It's another fine, fair, super sweaty, hot day here in California. I hope you've enjoyed your day, and I thank you for joining me here in the Nerd Castle, where we had left off with this play. We had finally gotten some work done. We were doing some work. We were getting our relationships in order. We were figuring out who's on our side, who's not on our side, and who we wanted to ally ourselves with. Thus far, we've been more or less sort of a Robin Hood, Child of the Sun type figure for most of the Aztec people, along with the Totonacs up in the north. We've been doing a lot of good deeds, running around taking from the rich and giving to the poor, which in all cases tends to turn out pretty poorly for us because eventually the rich are going to catch on and they're going to come after us with everything that they have. Right now, we actually have a secondary mission to head up to the east, as I recall. There was a Toltec temple. No, there was that, and then what else was there? Let's see here. Oh, the clandestine diplomacy, possibly? We had been told to travel to a Toltec temple. Let's see, is that where we're at? I believe so. Ooh, we're venerable now. I don't know if it said that before. In any case, it's nice to have extra adjectives. I mean, I guess other than terrible and douchebag, I mean, the douchebaggy El Gato del Splatter would be a group of adjectives I probably wouldn't accept, but for the time being, let's camp for the night. I think we actually lost somebody here, so we probably want to do that anyways. We have one guy who's just kind of sitting around injured. We needed to put a bunch of people on preservation duty, it looks like, too. I'm going to try and do better at paying attention to what's going on down here with the various preserving and herbalism, because I realize I have just let a lot of goods slip through the cracks, and it's not something that I'm really proud of. It's something I'm a little embarrassed by. Julio Barreto, what are you building? Spike traps? Okay, let's go ahead and have him... Yeah, spike traps will work for now, I suppose. And so we'll camp for the eve. Our hunters were able to grab us a bit more meat for the day. We got another spike trap, and everything is going according to plan. I'm going to swing up here and grab this gold. And that's going to be... How much gold did we just snag? 209 valuables. It looks like there was a tiny bit of lag there before it reported what we had found. But let's go to the Toltec temple. That's a very alliterative word. I actually really like the word Toltec, and I can't tell you why. The first time I ever heard that word, I was playing Dungeons & Dragons Warriors of the Rising Sun for the Sega Genesis, and they made a reference to Toltec temples or something like that. And ever since then, I've loved the word Toltec. In fact, I need to name something in my house Toltec. I need to run around and find a mouse or just some random critter to pet and call Toltec. Anyways, the Toltec temple is one of several ruined buildings sitting on a large plain. The large flat buildings form a square along one side of which sits a pyramid of modest size compared to the ones in Tenochtitlan. A group of servants are standing around ox-drawn carts in front of a tunnel entrance at the base of the pyramid. Let's see if we can kill everybody sneakily. A handful of your troops around the buildings, or arrange themselves around the buildings and approach the servants from either side. In a quick, flawlessly executed attack, they take the servants by surprise and skewer them before they have a chance to react. That's an interesting choice of words. Your troops regroup in front of the tunnel entrance. Teresa Sanchez speaks up. Capitan del Splatter, we don't know how many enemies await us in there. We should enter with our weapons sheathed and get an idea of the tactical situation. Then we could try to trick them into splitting up with a promise of free passage for some of them. The rest of our force will be waiting for them here and kill them when they emerge. Meanwhile, we deal with the ones they left behind. God, that's in the better interest of my honor, I'm just gonna go in guns blazing, and we'll see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into here. I am more than confident we'll be able to do perfectly fine without having to resort to nasty little tricks and things of that nature. So we have 5 of 6 people selected. And what has gone wrong here? Hold on, I thought somebody was wounded that I didn't care about. Oh, Trevino is down. Okay, so what we'll do is let's go ahead and we will upgrade somebody to take her place. We will have Paulik upgraded, I guess. And so, or I'm sorry, to take Trevino's place, his place. And so we will do, I think I'm going to go with, let's see, where is it? Relentless. I have just greatly enjoyed Relentless. It has been amazing. And so now that he's upgraded, let's upgrade him again. Whatever. We'll have him as a backup. There's no limit to how many people we can have at veterans, so I don't think that's really going to hurt us in any case. I like the warriors anyway, so we'll do what we can. We'll increase his movement, I think. Actually, no, we're going to have him flank a lot. We'll have him do sneak attack. It'll be fine. We've got lots of extra equipment that we can strap onto him. And so there we go. We'll get him, well, we don't really need to upgrade his ranged. Nah, not going to do a lot of the shooty business. But we are going to do a whole lot of the stabby, and I may actually start favoring him to... Yeah, I think I may abandon Trevino. I don't really like the glaives so much, and I actually like the sword and board type gameplay. You guys know me, defensive at all times. And so let's bring Laszlo along. That upgrade I may regret in the future, but for now, it seems like a vital thing. just to get past this battle because I really don't want to bring any of my second stringers in. I would prefer to avoid that situation. We do have a scholar that we've been leveling up, but honestly, I don't really like the scholars in battle, and the general consensus seems to be don't bring them along. Oh, prevent any enemies from escaping. God, these missions are, yeah, a mess. So let's go ahead and, I suppose, throw lanterns there just to block off certain avenues of escape. I mean, are they trying to get behind me? Oh, they are. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll form a human line as best as possible, and we're just going to completely try to block off all ways out. And next turn we'll try and drop something right there. We'll rotate as necessary. I actually don't see this going very well. These missions, as I've played them, and I have another playthrough that I've gotten reasonably far in, but this one has actually become my main playthrough at this point. What I've noticed is that the missions where the enemies have to escape, they have to get to these golden slots right here. It's very difficult to stop that from happening. You're going to have a large amount of trouble. In fact, I think some of these missions need to have some rebalancing with that respect because they're almost impossible. The 2 or 3 that I've played where the enemy's trying to escape, you basically can't win. They don't give you enough troops to actually cordon everything in. And so in this situation, we're going to find ourselves either baiting attacks of opportunity, which is what we want to do through here. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we drop lanterns on as many of the enemies as possible to make sure that they don't get away. And so with this guy right here, I think what I will do is, God, I am afraid to kind of step forward because we may end up allowing people to escape. What I will do, however, is take shots at the people I think I can get fire off on. And so we'll take a shot on him right there. I don't see any way that we're going to succeed at this mission, though. This is actually kind of a... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I accidentally clicked. And so I'm a moron. And that is something that I'm just going to have to live with. And so we'll use our sneak attack to put him back in position. And that was just a total and complete idiot play on my part. It's tough to see... God, stepping back to here, I mean, they can escape from the ones in front of it too, which makes the whole thing a little precarious. I suppose stepping back 1 slot on all of these might make this a little easier. I don't know what these flames are going to do in the next turn, so we'll try and keep an eye on those, and hopefully I'm assuming it'll only go like 1 or 2 out from there, but we'll see what happens on this next turn. And so he is actively burning up, and we're kind of being jerks right now. We were assigned to exterminate as many of these guys as humanly possible. He's reached the escape zone, which means we can't attack him, which is going to injure us in the greater sense. Tactical moves are going to greatly come into play, and in fact, tactical moves are the reason why these missions are largely unwinnable. Tactical moves are going to allow them to move right past us, and since we don't have enough units to make an actual barricade right here, they don't really have to win any combat. All they have to do is get by us in the slightest sense. Now that we've ended this turn, let's see, can I do this? Oh no, there's an enemy right there. God, it's so dark, I can't see for anything. Alright. And so can he attack him? Oh, he can. Lovely. And so I'm actually going to leave my guy in the flames right there for a moment. We'll actually have him step out now. I'm going to have my doctor... God, we can't really do that either. Let's see, how much movement does he have? 4 or 5? Okay. So we'll have him step in right here. Maybe score himself a kill? No? No kill? Damn. Alright, well, we'll go for it. We need to get him healed up right now, or her healed up. We'll have her step back through here, kind of make just little blockades as best as possible, since clearly they're not going to be running that way. I was worried we weren't going to be able to attack them as they came through that part right there. I'm going to drop a further lantern right there, and hopefully that's going to flush them out a little bit. Just flush them like an overworked toilet. And if we can get that wrapped up, I think we should be able to whittle them down. Lanterns are going to largely be the way that we resolve our issues here. And so it looks like he's going to take a position right there. Hopefully we can just keep on destroying them as best as possible. I do need to get my scout healed at this point because she is on fire. And not just in the attractive sense. God, we are actually just taking all kinds of fiery damage here. So let's get everybody out of the flames. We'll take a swing at him. He got Relentless. It actually, they say it's 5%, but Relentless really does seem to proc a lot more than one might assume. Let's bring this unit over here. We'll have him take a shot at Conquistador. And it actually, he landed the shot, which is impressive. Why is he unable to take that shot? Oh, the fire acts as cover. That's an interesting turn of events. And so let's go ahead and have the doc step up in and over here, use a cure, And that should remove the dot from her and get her set up in a better situation. I thought the flames could only expand out to 2 blocks, but they appear to be giving chase. They're aggressive flames. They're flames of which we should be mostly terrified. And I'm going to remain that way. I'm going to give them a lot of respect. Oh, 1 enemy escaped. Okay, well, there's nothing we can do about that then. I mean, I can sit there and sacrifice my people to fire, but I really dislike those missions. The enemies break through your troops. No, they didn't break through. There was no way to stop them. I strongly dislike missions that really aren't winnable. You'll see that there was 8 areas by which they could pass us, and we only had 6 units, so they were gonna get by, just spamming sneak attacks every single turn. Your enemies break through your troops and rush up and out of the temple where they fight their way through the rest of your people. Your remaining people defend themselves against the unexpected attack. Instead of trying to stop the natives, they run into the chamber to aid you, carrying your wounded people up to the carts. And so, once we're sure all the enemies are gone, God, I dislike the result there. I feel like that mission was more or less rigged to be failed. The 2 or 3 of those that I've played have been absolutely unwinnable. I'll give you an example of another one I played. It started you in a central location and the enemies were surrounding you, but to get away, all they had to do was run away. And so basically they made a circle around you, and all they had to do was disperse to the edge of the map to win, which basically meant they won on the first turn and there was absolutely no way to win. So with missions like that, there's things that the developers absolutely need to look at, because I didn't have enough troops to blockade the door. And so I suppose I could have circumvented that by leaving one of my guys in the flames, but once again, it wasn't made clear what the win-loss parameters were. So for example, it didn't say that I automatically lose if one person spends 1 turn in the escape zone. Had I known that, I would have dedicated my troop to stay there, but unfortunately the information was not made available. Now, I had assumed that once all their troops made it to the yellow, we automatically lose. That wasn't the case, and there was, well, maybe I'm just imperceptive. If there was a way for me to derive that information, please let me know down in the comments, and just tell me, just say, Splattercat, you're imperceptive and you're an idiot, and then I'll stop bitching and moaning. So I suppose what we'll do now is, now that we have just royally failed at our duties twice, we're going to go back, and we're honestly at war with we're going to be at war with the Aztecs anyways pretty shortly, so I don't really care that I've disappointed them. It's free XP for being a failure, which I guess we got the booby prize there. And that's what they do at my school. They describe, like, if you fail at something but you still get like a C- for your effort, it's called a booby prize. At least that's what they call it at my school. But let's go back and see what kind of trouble we've gotten ourselves into. This is the market, so we don't need to go there. Let's go to the... okay, the light drizzle is falling when you return to the palace of Tenochtitlan, and Queopotl receives you and your expedition members in a richly decorated dining hall this time. The conspirators have escaped. He grumbles. I know. My servants have informed me of the fiasco. Can I regain your trust? He scowls at you for a moment. You say regain as though you ever held my trust in the first place. This is the second time you failed me, and my patience is wearing thin. Well, we're gonna punk him. I'll remind you that I owe you nothing, General. Then perhaps you should not offer gestures of goodwill which you cannot deliver. An escalation of our ongoing conflict with the Totonac is inevitable. Soon we will strike at Zalapa. With that stubborn fool Tepectoten out of the picture, the Totonac will be deprived of strong leadership, and we will be free to move on their capital, Kempuala. Before we can move directly against Zalapa, however, we have the opportunity to weaken Tepectoten's position without provoking an immediate response. The town of Papantla belongs to the Totonac, but if you take it, that will not be enough to unify the Totonac leadership against us. You want us to invade? Papantla must be subjugated. I will not interfere in your methods, but make sure the town will no longer be a factor in the conflict. You know what? Go whatever. Go to hell, man. We're not going to help anymore. He crosses his hands across his chest. Well, I hope you change your mind for both of our sakes. Our plans hinge on your assistance in this matter, and we cannot move forward before Papantla is out of the picture. Yet if we do it ourselves, Zalapa and Kempuala will move against us before we are ready. If you don't wish to work with the Aztec Empire any longer, then so be it, but we have nothing to discuss until Papantla is taken care of. If you change your mind, simply carry out the task and return to me. And so basically they said right there in a storyline-like manner that we don't care what you say, you're actually going to do this quest no matter what you say. So let's go ahead, and that's dev speak right there. It's a mandatory quest. I'm just going to avoid it, and we're going to go down to our original plan, which was to join the Totonac in the south and see if we can help them out with their overall struggle. Looks like Ana Vidal is back up and ready to roll. We'll put her back on patrol duty. Bernardo Trevino's back up and ready. We'll put him on guard duty. And so let's see what we can do here. In the evening, Ana Vidal comes to you as your highest ranking officer. A moment of your time, please, Capitan del Splatter. What do you need? Senor, if you'll excuse my forwardness, where do you see all this leading? What do you mean? We seem to be finding ourselves working for the Aztec Empire now. Forgive me, that's not what I signed on for. I serve the King of Spain, and I dare say most of your men feel the same way. We serve his majesty still, nothing has changed. C. I understand, it's only you must have some kind of endgame in mind, something that all this will lead to. If so, you are the only one in the camp who knows what the endgame is. It would put my mind at ease if you would explain our long-term goals to me. And let's see here. I think what we'll do is, this is my plan right here. So we have the option to say that we're making a plan with the Aztecs so that we can create profitable trade for years to come. We have the ability to say, once we've used them, we'll throw them aside and we will ally with the Totonacs. And we're maintaining the status quo by favoring each side equally. We can help Totonac overthrow the Aztecs, and then Spain will profit from the alliance. We've strung the Totonac along for a while. We'll side with the Aztecs and crush the Totonac uprising. We must acquire as much wealth and as much knowledge of these lands as possible before returning to Spain. I think what I'm going to do is we will help them. We're going to go with the Totonac here. She licks her lips and takes another step forward. New trade routes are worthwhile for sure, but we could do so much more. This conflict between the Aztecs and their vassals is an enormous weakness begging to be exploited. Capitan, I think if we play our cards right, we could conquer these lands for Spain. That is along the lines of what I had in mind. Sure, why not? Why not try and grab what we can? So after we help this conflict reach its logical conclusion, we make our own power play, exploit the resulting weakness of the native factions, and take Tenochtitlan for Spain? Precisely. She nods. Thank you, Capitan. Would you mind if I relay this to the other members of the expedition? It would put their concerns at rest. No, keep it to yourself. See, Capitan. Have a good night. And so I've kind of changed my plans here. I actually kind of want to get involved with as much violence as possible. I'm changing my alignment mid-game, which is something that is generally looked down upon, but we're going to do it anyways because I want to go with a little bit more conflict. I feel like I've been spending a lot of episodes just sort of walking around in circles, talking to people and just relaying storyline to you guys. And instead of being a storyteller or a story relayer, since I didn't write the story in the first place, I figure why not jump in and actually affect things? Oh. It appears as though I've stepped in completely the wrong direction. There's no way to make it through this forest. Either I'm probably going to have to go up and around that way or down this road. I think I'm going to go with the road route. So unfortunately, we're going to have to double back. I probably should have planned this out beforehand. Camp for the eve, get another spike trap. I'll probably have Barreto work on something else as we draw closer to the logical conclusion. I'm actually borrowing their words now. As we draw closer to the conclusion of this whole struggle, we should probably use some other things. What's going on with this house right here? It's got a fleur-de-lis, and this is the cowman. Go away, cowman. You are seriously blocking my abilities to get things done. Traveling through the outskirts of the city of Tenochtitlan, you come across a small square with a basin in the center. The square is crowded with people going about their business, but you quickly notice the 24 people lying around the basin, but wearing some bandages. Others coughing and looking pale and sick. At the opposite end of the square, you see a curious-looking Aztec, his face and body scarred like nothing you've ever seen before, tending to a patient. We'll go talk to him. As you come closer, it's almost as if his scars make a pattern, but you can't discern what they're supposed to resemble. He finishes tending his patient and looks up at you and smiles. Wiping his hands, he comes towards you and introduces himself as Nahuitl. Your translator says his name is Patli and explains he's a doctor and a shaman in this part of the city. With grand gestures and a warm, genuine enthusiasm, Patli continues to speak. The stars racing across the sky carried bad omens, and you seem like the sort that would cause all sorts of trouble. I do not believe in such things. We bend our fates by the strength in our hands. Out of my way, heathen! God. What omens? He says that a year ago, as he mentioned, a star raced brightly across the sky. It is considered a very bad omen. I believe that it merely becomes what we make of it. I saw it as a sign of something new, a great change. For many moons now, I have waited for that change, to shake loose these tiresome old ailments. He gestures towards his patients. What's wrong with them? The same as always, fever, infections, sore bones. Boring. Never anything exciting. I heard a rumor of an entire village carried spots on their skin, but I have not been able to go there. It sounds fascinating, however. Why can't I get some of that my way? God. Bring me that disease. We need something more interesting around here. Bring all your diseases. Tell him about Tenochtitlan. We told him about it, and he says that he would like to bring back a patient. We tell him, I do not think this would be wise. Lord knows what devil-worshipping ritual this heathen will use it for. Well, I'm not going to carry sick people with me because, honestly, we're going to get ourselves into trouble that way. Bringing sick people back with me is a good way to get my own people sick, and that's something that I'm just not going to take a chance with. Being a slight opportunist right now, obviously we're on the path to opportunism. We're trying to gain as much treasure. Hey, what was that? I saw something. Consolidate your maps of the lake. Oh, good. Do that next turn to get ourselves a little bonus in XP. Get ourselves a little bit more experienced in the ways of the road. And let's see what we can land ourselves down here. I don't see any further points of interest, but checking my map, we're going to want to cut left right here because there's an ancient temple. And ancient temples thus far have been excellent opportunities to either get ourselves into fist fights, sword fights, bow fights, maquaddle fights, all sorts of things. All sorts, fights of a variable nature. And so I think we'll do that. Now, we're going to consolidate our maps here. I'm going to have Barreto do it because I'm not sure what I want him to work on anyways. We'll give him that. And it looks like consolidating the maps gave us 50 experience. We were able to find 100 valuables in a hut. We also got ourselves 10 meat for the day to come. I'm going to give a good look to see how I can land myself a westward path here, or at least a northwestern path. Anything that's going to put us closer to the goal of that temple, or the gold of that temple if we were going to remove a word and then add another one in a separate spot, just kind of rotate things around. Moving through the mountains, your expedition is intercepted by a group of tribal warriors. They look malnourished and poorly equipped, but there's rather a lot of them. Let's go ahead and quickly fortify our position, and they look like they are probably going to take from us, so let's not worry about it. Let's just make sure that everything is prepared for their arrival. I want to bring Paulik instead of the people I normally bring. I'm still going to bring Alvarado, and let's go ahead and do our thing. I'm going to start phasing over to the sword and board characters because I like the block feature. Being able to block is a pretty sweet, and so I'd like to keep myself lined up with the blockage, but not a blockage of an intestinal nature. That's the last thing my group needs, and in fact, I believe we've been inflicted with that already on several different occasions. I'm going to retreat back to this location using a double move for my doctor, and I'm going to allow them to pincer me right here, at least slightly. And so as they do that, we will lay down a lantern on this side. There it is. And so we will allow them to come to us. And honestly, oh, he walked right around. He's like, please, trying to shoot your white man's fire at me. Well, he decided to step around the flames. He was smarter than we gave him credit for. He's going to take a double shot at us, which is going to leave us. Oh, there's 9 of them. This could turn into quite the hairy battle, especially since they all seem to be ranged. We have very few people actually closing in for the conflict with us, so we may actually not be able to hold up in the greater defense of our party. We're actually going to have to close ranks here with them and actually get into some fights, unfortunately. I think we'll probably be able to push left, since that seems to be where they're aligning themselves anyways. So we'll push left as hard as we can, we will wipe them out, and then we will take drastic measures to make sure that we don't get ourselves taken out. We have a 90 or an 86% chance to succeed right here. I'm going to take a double shot at this guy, I think. Shot number 1 landed. We're going to gamble with the second. Oh, shot number 2 landed as well. That's going to put us in a lovely spot to kill our first individual. We're going to step down to here now and take a swing at, I think, this guy along the flank. That's the damage that I want to deal. We'll also have this warrior step to, actually, let's go with the halberd guy, because he's going to do a bit more damage. And there it is. He's not quite dead yet, but he's getting there. He's getting there. We'll have this gent step right to here and take a 31% chance shot. And we missed, and so we'll have him step back to there. Have the doc step forward, take his shots, and he's going to fail us as well, but we are going to equip him with a knife. Have this gent with a knife as well. Looks like our shaman has finally caught fire. And just to scramble these little buggers back here around, I'm going to throw a lantern, make sure that they're forced to kind of displace a tad instead of just camping back there shooting at us through this rock that appears to be, I mean, it appears as though they're clipping through this rock when they're firing at us. So I'm not really sure. That rock definitely appears higher, but I can't pan downwards to figure it out. So in the greater scheme of things, it'll probably be all right. Our first heal is very likely going to go towards, oh, he used sneak. And so he's going to flank us right there and get a little bit of damage done. Unexpected, but a smart move on the part of the AI. We're also going to take a spear stab right there, which is unfortunate. And what's he going to do? He's going to just arrange with the line. All right. Well, let's step over here. Oh, there's a warrior right there. All right, so he's flanked. And so what I would prefer to do in this situation is kill him like so. Down he goes. I'm going to have the doc step to right there and use a nuclear heal, the biggest heal he can possibly bomb on my scout, because my scout has work to do. My scout is going to take a swing. Yikes. My scout could technically get out of harm's way right now, but that would cause the line to fold. But in the greater scheme of things, I actually think that's probably a smart idea. God, I don't know. I suppose we'll take a swing and then step to there. What we'll do now is we will consolidate our fire on this gent with the shield down here as best as possible. Okay. I like the result there. Now our guy over here is fighting with this witch doctor. I'm actually going to be devious and kick him back into the flames. There we go. Yeah, pulling off some cool stuff right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bait him back. If he wants to come at my ranged guy, I very much want him to end up eating attacks of opportunity. So we're going to rotate our front a tad. I'm going to try and keep the doctor out of harm's way by keeping this guy next to him at all times, giving him somewhat of an escort, and we're going to get a substantial amount of damage right there. We've got a flanked attack, but he's going to take a double attack of opportunity. I don't really know who he was going after right there, but he's helping us even out the odds. That lantern up there was largely a waste. We set the entire jungle alight for no reason, and they are just deciding to give the battle over to me, unfortunately. I'm not really sure what they're thinking at this point, but they are taking some pretty substantial attrition right now. So we could lose him right here. I don't know. Oh, double attack worked. All right, it works for us. It works for them, I guess. Let's go ahead and we're going to fire a normal shot at him. That's going to injure him quite roundly. We're going to finish this unit off, and I have to have the doctor back right now to at least give him something for the pain. So we're going to throw as much, Percocet at him as we possibly can. Our Renaissance Percocet. I'm going to have my scout actually swing around, and we're going to kill this unit first, and then we're going to bait a flank right here. And so let's get him up into a flanking position. There it is, and shazowie. 76 damage on a single swing. We're going to try and eliminate that enemy right here. And luckily, we were able to get our foes somewhat finished off here. Now, because this whole area is alight, it may be a little bit different or a little bit difficult to chase these guys down, but all things considered, I think we've done well, given the substantial numbers that our foe had over us. It's not the roughest battle I've seen. Oh my god, those attacks of opportunity. He might be trying... Oh no, I was hoping he was softening... I mean, sometimes I feel bad for the AI, and I just hope that they're doing something intelligent, although there's no way for me to confirm it. I mean, I wish for certain intents and purposes that it would tell me what they're up and about, because sometimes I feel like I have no indicator what they're actually attempting. It's currently not allowing me to pan my screen, and so I'm going to... Yeah, I appear to be stuck on those rocks in the center. There we go. Get myself dislodged here. And so let's go ahead. I just, trying to get a reaction out of me, but like a laryngitic owl, we're not going to give a hoot. And so let's go and see if we can circle around the flames here. And kill? No kill, unfortunately. What we can do is just kind of wait it out, and there we go. The flames got him. So we got a flawless victory right there. And let's see what happens from the spoils of war. They may have actually just needed help, but unfortunately they ran up on me a little too quickly. I reacted. Our ninja Spanish reflexes were just like, Kiyoy! And then we just wiped them out. So you definitely direct your troops to prepare for battle, and Sergeant Vidal ensures that everything is ready by the time the savages are upon you. The battle is over, you stand victorious, and all the tribals are dead or dying. We search the corpses and find ourselves 4 equipment, 10 herbs, and 300 gold. And so I think we're right about at our expiration point for this episode. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here. Next episode, hopefully we'll be able to run out and check out some abandoned temples, make a little bit more money, maybe throw our hat into the ring of the... Is there any time, really, that somebody threw their hat into the ring? That's always a weird statement for me, because if you threw it into the middle of a boxing ring, you'd figure that would be disruption. Or like in the middle of any type of contest, it might be considered aiding and cheating. But anyways, we may throw in with the Totonac and then betray them. I'm not really sure. I'm having second thoughts about how I want this whole thing to play out. Because honestly, Vidal was right. We are on the Spanish crown side, and if we wanted to roleplay this close to the chest, that would be something that we tried to do. But in any case, thank you for joining me here in the Nerd Castle. I hope to see you guys next time, and take care out there, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.